let's just talk about real briefly, glory to God, the power of purity, okay? The power of purity, okay? And I know I'm probably going to get a whole lot of backlash from this, okay? Maybe it's because of my past. Maybe it's because of the assumptions. I don't know. But I will tell you that in being abstinent, I have learned so much about myself. I have learned so much about my womanhood. I mean, I have learned so much. I've gotten so close to God. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the most perfect angel. But what I'm going to say is that the power and purity can transform lives. And this is not just for my ladies. This is for the fellas as well. Because the work that God can do in you when you prioritize, like the cleanse of, soul ties. Soul ties are like literally what keeps us in bondage. Connecting with someone else sexually, connecting with the wrong person sexually, being unequally yoked. That that can put you, just in like a daze. It can put you in like a love spell that's like not what's for you. That's gonna pull you away from your destiny. That's gonna pull you away from where God is leading you. That's gonna pull you, actually, believe it or not, further away from your kingdom spouse. Because the more time you spend entertaining what's not for you, the more time is being wasted, that you could be working on yourself and building yourself up, to be prepared and ready and to be like wholesome when it's time for you to meet your soulmate. There's twin flames and then there's soulmates. And God has created somebody for you that's your match, where it's going to feel like peace. I literally have chills, like, where it's going to feel like peace, where it's going to feel like love, where it's going to feel like joy. And there's like this like wind, coming on me right now. We always know that when there's wind, that it's God, that it is the presence of God, depending on where you are, spiritually. But glory to God. Like I said, there's power in purity. I mean, I feel like I've found my power again. I've found like joy in so many other things, and I put my energy, that sexual energy that we like spend a lot of our youth wasting, and that can really provide you with the energy that you need to get so much more done and take care of so much. And you got to know that when God sees you trying, like, he'll meet you in the middle. Like, he'll take care of the rest. God just wants to see initiative. He wants to know that you're trying, that you're seeking your purpose, that you're seeking a better way of living, that you want to do better, like that it's in your heart. Because it's easy to say, but like, really, the thing about me is like I've never been like a fast girl or anything. It's just like, one thing about me is I would be unequally yoked, and I would get into a relationship with someone, or they would want to be in a relationship with me, and it wouldn't be the person for me. And it's because like when I'm not in relationships, I am very like focused on me. Like I'm like independent, like boss queen, and I, going forward, I know that my kingdom spouse, I'll still be able to have that independence. I'll still be able to be the boss queen that I am, and be able to also be like a wife and a mother, and have like both sides. When I would get in relationships unequally yoked, that independent side of me was like stripped, you know what I mean? Like it was taken from me, and it was like, and it's not necessarily like I'm saying that it was another person doing that, but I'm taking full responsibility for that, and saying that because I would, lay down with somebody that wasn't meant for me to be with, it wasn't meant for me to connect with, and then it would just make things go left, instead of go right. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's spiritual. Like, it's like God be trying to wake us up, and he be trying to have us realize, like, okay, this isn't for you. He'll show you the red flags. He'll show you the signs. But y'all already know how it be when we get those red flags, how we just ignore them, or how we overlook them, or, is to be that love spell, A lot of the times that we're lonely or we are rushing into something, like I said in my previous video about, looking for someone to save you, looking for safety and security in man. And like I said, when you do find your kingdom spouse, you are going to have a sense of security because that's your other whole, like that's your other half. And it's not just like a Facebook post, like my other half, like is literally going to be your other half. And you guys are going to be able to build together. You guys are going to have a purposeful life together. You guys are going to serve in the kingdom together, even if it is your own different thing, even if you guys both do your own different thing. Marriage is not supposed to be like you're in a cage. You should feel free, and you should feel like you can do your own independent thing. But just know that when y'all get together, you and your kingdom spouse, like the devil's gonna be mad. Like you're gonna be shaking up the kingdom. You're gonna be really serving a purpose. You're gonna be impacting lives and just like being an inspiration to people. Like I'm really still a firm believer of true love and true peace and wholesomeness and family. And like I said, purity, abstinence, celibacy has really helped me find myself. It has helped me. It has helped me. And I never wanted it more than that, to find myself, to be wholesome, to be complete. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm all the way there. But what I'm saying is that I've had so much growth ever since then. And if you have been thinking about that, I would say go for it. If you have been thinking about, purity and abstinence and refraining from sex, refraining from, intercourse, activity, all that, like I said, when you do this, you got to know that there will be distractions left and right. There will be times where maybe you fall short. There will be times where, the devil, like you'll get these dreams, you'll have these dreams and different things trying to pull you back into that direction. But you just got to stay strong, like be patient. There's somebody out there for you. There's somebody that God has handpicked for you to love, for you to grow with, and for you to serve a purpose for and with. Okay, it's going to be safe. They always say if you're with somebody and you get all these little butterflies, that's not the person for you. That's the person that's just making you nervous or whatever. When you get with that one and you feel safe and you pray, always pray. Always pray about people that come into your life, because God will reveal it to you. And it will be undeniable. You won't be able to deny that God showed you what you need to see. It's up to you whether you decide to stay or not. Because when I would stay in situations where God revealed to me, like, no, this is not your person. This is not for you. This is not who I have for you. This is not how you should feel. This is not how you should be treated. I would overlook it. I would make excuses. I would maybe just didn't know my worth, and I would settle. And so, when you finally get to a place in your life where that's no longer an option, you're just too much on the line. You realize that you're an asset. You know what I mean? You're not a liability. You're an asset. And you bring something to the table. You are the table, like literally. And so you need somebody that has that same energy, that matches your aura, like that knows who they are, that are sure of themselves. And that it is not just like a cocky sure of themselves to where they like ghost you and act like they don't need you, but it's a security within self that you can give someone else that same love, and it can just be reciprocated and go full circle. And I'm not sitting here saying that your marriage, even with your kingdom spouse, is not going to be perfect, but there will be love, there will be loyalty, there will be integrity, there will be God, there will be honesty, and you won't have to fight, to know your value. That person won't do anything to lose you. You got to understand that I know personally that when I have somebody good in my life, I don't like, just in general, like I'm not gonna do anything to lose that person. And so if that's in me, I know it's in somebody else. So it's just about whether you're willing to be patient enough to wait for your kingdom spouse, to wait for that divine connection. Okay, and it's also, like I said, I just want to throw this in there real quick, that when we go outside of purity, that's where we kind of veer off, and then things start to happen that God never intended for us to even go through. And so, for example, getting in relationships at a young age, my first boyfriend was like, I was like 16, that was when I lost my virginity with my first boyfriend. But that just goes to say that, like, for instance, say that wasn't my plan, that wasn't my journey, that wasn't God's plan for my life. I had my journey and it made me who I am today. But I'm just saying, if I didn't engage in those things, if I didn't engage in sex, if I didn't engage in relationships, say that I just stayed completely pure, right? God can cleanse anybody. Don't get me wrong. God will purify you. He will make you new. He will make you whole again. He will rejuvenate you, mind, body, and soul. But just to say, if I just kept that purity and waited for my spouse, not because of religion, okay? Not because of religion. Hear me out. But for the sake of, like mental health, for the sake of not being unequally yoked, for the sake of maintaining my peace, for the sake of maintaining my purity, and my mind stays pure. You understand what I'm saying? My mind would have stayed pure. My mind would never, I wouldn't have gone through and gotten into some of the relationships if it wasn't for sex, if it wasn't for lust, if it wasn't for me going through my own insecurities, my own traumas and drugs and alcohol, etc., etc. Like, all those things play a role, and then they cause you to steer off, and then you end up where you're not supposed to be and with people that you're not supposed to be with, and then that's where the trauma comes through, and then you have to work extra hard to heal from those traumas. Sometimes there's no choice when it comes to trauma. Sometimes, trauma starts at an early age when we're young, and it is what it is, But I just had to throw that out there, that purity is what keeps our mind pure. Purity is what keeps us close to God. Purity is what helps us keep a healthy state of mind. And so it's never too late, it's never too late to decide that you want to save yourself, to decide that you want, a healthy mind, to decide that you're going to do the work, right? That's all it takes. And so, yes, I just wanted to talk about that really quick and just share with you guys how, like, abstinence is really played a major role in my growth, because it's just a lot, and you don't know what's out there. You don't know the things that the demons that are in people. It's all spiritual. You don't know what people are battling, and when you choose to lay down with someone, it's like you take in all of their emotions, all of their traumas, all of their feelings and their, habits. It's just like, after a while, then you start to feel like you might get it confused with love. You might get lust confused with love, and then you'll stay somewhere where you weren't meant to stay for longer than you were meant to stay, or maybe just a lesson, or just whatever the case may be, just something for you to learn. But just know that when God frees you from a situation, when God heals you, when God brings you up out of a situation, don't go back. And if you have been thinking about remaining abstinent or celibacy, like I said, just go for it, because there's somebody out there that's literally waiting to love you the way you deserve to be loved. And if you're patient enough to do the work in yourself, then I think that will be the sooner that you guys will meet soulmate love. All right, I love you guys very much. I pray that this word blesses you. World changer, gay.